Dhyanamoolam Gururmurti Pujamoolam Gururpadam Mantramilam Gururvakyam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Hari Om Tat Sat. We'll continue on the same topic. Briskly reviewing, address the topic on caregiver as our first generation of immigrants are getting older, we are facing many challenges, diseases which require a great deal of care. For example, Alzheimer, depression, dementia, Parkinson, and general old age. We can get help from different resources, but primary responsibility is on the family. As you well know, children in this country live with their own spouse and children. Also, they have jobs and their own family responsibility. They could also be living in another city or state. So one cannot depend on it. So the spouse who is the healthier of the two get the responsibility of it all. But he or she is also getting older and do not have the strength to cope with the situation. In some cases, they are financially not able to afford outside help. In a situation like this, how is one to deal with it and what should be the thought process? All of us who have left our homeland have sacrificed a lot, worked very hard, done all kinds of jobs to support our families and raise them best to our ability. Last few years of our lives should be happy and content. Please shed some light on the subject matter. Understanding the same point that we discussed many times. The situation exists the way it is. Some of the points which we need to contemplate almost every day. Either we are in that situation or we are going to be in that situation, and not with a sense of fear. First and foremost, if we can take out the feeling from us that I am the doer. Every moment, whether we are healthy and we're capable of doing it, even at that time, continuously contemplating on, I am not the doer. Divine has chosen me as an instrument, and I do the best I can. And when I say I do the best I can, because we all are yoga sadhaka, yoga aspirant. So throughout the life, until the last minute, we have to keep on performing yoga. Now, yoga doesn't mean you do Surya Namaskar every day or headstand every day and pranayama every day. The awareness plays much bigger role. And when I say awareness, continuously thinking, I am not the doer, but I am an instrument of divinely chosen person. Instead of us receiving the help, I am chosen to be a help giver. So that itself, treat it as a blessing. I do not mean to say that we are also incapable of doing anything, but whether we are physically able to or not, but our mental alertness and mental state plays the role. That means even if we get tired, do the best you can, and nothing more you can do. Or we can do the things with a feeling of suffering, or we can do the things with services chosen by divine, by us to be performed. So important. And remember, as Bhagavad Gita says, Yoga Karma Kausalam. Yoga is the one that you do Kausalam. You do the most efficient way you can. And we may reach to a point where we just cannot do anything, but still we can do. And that is, close your eyes and wish them good luck and see we could do prayer for. And prayer not God to help him, but to invoke the spirit from within you as well as the other person, so that they get the strength, they get immunity to face the situation. I understand, dear friend, that to quite a degree, many times, with our common thinking, we reach to a point that nothing can be done. But mental alertness and mental awareness is the key. And bearing in mind, why am I thinking about it? Why am I worrying about it? Situation will be taken care. Here we are talking about resources being available, roof being provided, bed being provided, air conditioning being provided, water being accessible. But can you imagine, on a comparative basis, that how lucky we are that we are not left out, homeless. As soon as we think of the people living in cardboard boxes, not anywhere else, but right here on the 4th or 6th Street of Los Angeles, right here in Santa Ana. When we understand this, we feel ourselves to be so fortunate. They don't have even a blanket to cover themselves. How much comfort we have. And those, if at all, and hope never, if at all we happen to live in the cardboard boxes, still you think that some passerby someday will throw a piece of sandwich to us. But the people who are out in the wilderness, and I mean wilderness, out in the jungle, out on the mountains of Himalayas, they have nobody, and they by themselves are. So in that sense, one has to know that we are a lot better off. And at the same time, divinity protects them as well. And if we keep on spending our time beyond our limited circle, we will feel so good. What more I can say? At the same time, having had the attitude always of the service and yoga, karma, kausalam, sadhana, dedicated service, and always be helpful to the others. And when we come out of the zone of I-ness and mine-ness, there's a unique joy in itself. And you will even forget that what really the pain is. And at the same time, with everybody's love, with everybody's eagerness to help, we, the Sati family, is a family. And each one of us are eager to help each other out. And those of us who need help and those of us can offer help, they have to come up with and kindly register with us. We have 7 or 8 people, and by the end of this year, we will have a list available and circulated so that not necessarily Sati member, we will extend the help to anybody and everybody. Because even to think of Sati the charioteer, the divinity, Isha, we become the member, and this is lifetime member and even beyond. So kindly give us an opportunity to have your phone number, your email address, and address so that we can excessively, not excess-wise, choose who is nearby and who can help. And there are certain instances where nothing can one do, but one has to seek help. Couple of those instances I would like to mention, and I felt so grateful to some of the Sati members who had extended their help. I knew a friend of mine who was in his 80s, so you can imagine how old his mother must have been. And his mother fell and broke her bone. So to even dress her and to give her bath or sponge bath, her son being the only one in the family, and because of social limitation, her son could not help. So one of our members committed to herself, and she extended over the entire period to go and help her take sponge bath and do whatever necessary. And still to further say the one more instance so that we know we all could do it. It is not that something we cannot do. And mind you, you are not alone. We all are together. The only thing you got to do is to see that the phone call message somehow or other reaches to me or to the coordinator. And the other instance was a friend of mine's wife passed away in cancer. And different kind of help may be needed. And while she was suffering, or she was in the hospital, her parents were here, and parents could not drive, and her husband had um, his hands full. So somebody need to be driven, somebody need to convey the food. And after the situation was over, that dear friend of mine, she felt herself so duty bound that on a Thanksgiving day, she picked up my friend's two children, brought them home. They watched the TV throughout. They watched TV, had food, they had fun, and at night she went to drop their children home. This is even way after the death has taken the toll. So to say, there are people who love to do, and there's nothing wrong in asking and seeking help. There is, and if you or any one of you have any question, we will pick those questions up after the session. And there is one more beautiful question that come up, and I would like to share that first before I answer it. So let me see. And please make note of it. Those who, almost all of you, you know this address, but those of you don't, let me see. This is the question. How do you deal with the hurtful things that people say, although it comes from their ignorance, but it still hurts, especially when they are close to you? All right. Having read this, let me take it out of that. First of all, very beautifully, the person has put the word ignorance. And if we truly understand the word ignorance, then you know that the person may not mean it. And still, they too, out of frustration, this thing happens. So as soon as the person tries to hurt, wish him or her good luck, and feel inside and truly, genuinely think that he or she doesn't know what he is doing, and you feel compassionate with the person, that what an agitative environment mentally he or she may be undergoing, and I feel sorry for. I mean, the whosoever that person addressed in a hurtful manner. And this is not that easy, whether the person is relative to you or not, whether you are directly hurt or not. But as soon as you see some unpleasant or angry words being expressed or thrown at each other, just close your eyes for a moment and wish for the love, wish for the prayer. And really speaking, this prayer works. And whether it is or not, whether it is in your environment or not, but in general, love empowers everything. And I mean everything. And whether the person may still continue in a very highly agitative manner, but since they are your relatives, and had they been behaving right, you would have loved them. Why can we not extend the same love, at least attempt to extend the same love, because they are your well-wishers and you are their well-wishers. Mind you, dear friend, going to the temple, churches, synagogue, mosque, temple is right here. And the divine element is always present. While even I'm telling you, I am also wishing the same thing so that I may not hurt anybody. And still, nevertheless, things will be developed in such a manner because no two heads have the same pattern of thought. So even, for example, two people and one person doesn't mean to hurt other person. But one person goes to yoga class and the other person does not wish. So at that time, the other person may be hurt, but you cannot help it. And at the same time, if need be, and even if you don't go to yoga class and carry on your respiration with full awareness, you are attending the yoga class. That also doesn't mean find out an excuse so that being lazy, you don't go to and say, Swamiji said that, yeah, staying at home, just be aware of the breath so you do yoga asana or yoga practice. All what you put in and all what you think is in your head, and that repercussion take place. Planting of the seeds take place, and you reap what you sow. Whatever seeds we are planting, that's what we will be reaping. And here it's not a matter of God punishing you. Please understand, God never ever punishes anybody. It is the cause that we are planting that just get materialized into the effect. If you have planted, say for example, heat, you cannot expect its result to be pleasant, cool, calm, and serene environment. That it will be heat. So understand, we just reap what we sow, the seeds into the ground. And again and again and again, I would like to say, no matter who says what, God is love. And that love is without the lover. And when we witness this, that is the time we realize that Atma and Paramatma are not different. God is definitely not in heaven and definitely not in hell, right here on this earth. And on this earth we are, so we ourselves, this is our bodily temple. Make sure we close our eyes and explore the beauty of silence. We may not have to beg anything of God. He provides it. His opulence, His infinite treasure of divinity. So why do we even have to remind him or her or it? Always go with the confidence that yes, as previously mentioned, जब दंत न था तो दूध दिया, जब दंत दिया तो अन्न क्यों नहीं. Translation: when we were born and we did not have teeth, provision was so instantaneously and most timely made to provide the mother's ability to provide nourishment to us in the form of mother's milk. But as and when the teeth are growing and grown, why will he not provide the food? And this is not necessarily food for your stomach, just every survival skill, everything with which we will survive, any and all objective things I'm saying, and they are all called Lakshmi. Lakshmi is not necessarily dollar, but Lakshmi is that provision with which we will survive, and we are surviving. And if you would have seen the picture of Lakshmi, and she is standing in the ocean on a lotus flower, and with both her palms, she's pouring out the golden coins. And the golden coins are not necessarily nugget, but much more valuable than nugget. Anything and everything that you need in the life is being provided. But try not to expect diamond necklaces and this and that. Those are not your necessary. Those are not your necessity. And don't feel sad or sorry for. Anyway, dear friends, I think I could convey the message. And if something you still want to discuss, we will after the Shanti Path. Hari Om. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om, that's it.